In the sun-drenched savannas of Kenya and Tanzania exists a culture where time-honored traditions and the rhythm of modernity dance together in a delicate balance. Here, the Maasai people, draped in vibrant reds and adorned with intricate beadwork, live lives deeply rooted in ancient customs yet gently brushed by the winds of change. They are a society where the fierce reputation of lion hunters coexists with the delicate artistry of beadwork, where the red, shuka-clad warriors leap towards the sky not just in dance, but in a profound expression of life and identity. Their world is a blend of ancient rituals and intriguing social practices, which often challenge the conventional. Among these are many unique and often misunderstood practices, such as their polygamous marital customs, including the practice of wife sharing, their sacrifice rituals, their practice of drinking blood, their shocking burial practices, and much more. Welcome to the journey into the heart of the Maasai culture, where we'll discuss everything about this unique African tribe and their incredible lives. At the end of the video, we'll also share the story of Corinne Hoffmann, a woman from Switzerland who fell in love with a man of the Samburu tribe, leaving her life behind and moving to his village in Kenya. So make sure to stay till the end. The Maasai are an indigenous ethnic group renowned for their rich cultural heritage and distinctive customs. This group, primarily known as semi-nomadic pastoralists, has played a significant role in shaping the cultural landscape of East Africa. Geographically, the Maasai occupy a vast region known as the Masai Mara in Kenya and the Serengeti in Tanzania. These areas are characterized by expansive savannas, which have been conducive to the Maasai's pastoral way of life. The population of the Maasai, though subject to fluctuation due to various factors, is estimated to be in the hundreds of thousands. Despite the pressures of the modern world, many Maasai communities have maintained a strong attachment to their traditional lifestyle. The historical background of the Maasai is as rich as it is complex. Originating from the lower Nile Valley, they began migrating south around the 15th century, eventually settling in their current territories in the 17th and 18th centuries. This migration was marked by a series of conflicts and alliances with other ethnic groups, shaping the Maasai's warrior culture, which is still celebrated today. Over the centuries, the Maasai have adapted to various political and environmental changes, showcasing their resilience and ability to maintain their cultural identity. The significance of the Maasai in East African culture cannot be overstated. They are often seen as the archetypal image of African tribal life, frequently featured in media and tourism promotions. Their distinctive customs, dress, and way of life have made them an iconic symbol of Kenyan and Tanzanian cultural heritage. The Maasai's deep knowledge of the land and its wildlife has also been invaluable in the field of conservation, contributing significantly to the preservation of the region's unique ecosystems. In the Maasai culture, the social structure holds the community together. Central to this structure is the age set system, a traditional framework that organizes the Maasai society into distinct groups. Every Maasai individual is part of an age set, a cohort of peers born within a certain time span. These age sets progress through life stages together from childhood to elderhood, each stage marked by unique responsibilities and rites of passage. The age set system is not merely a means of social organization, it is the backbone of Maasai identity. When boys are initiated into an age set, they transition from the carefree days of childhood into the disciplined life of the Moran, or warriors. This initiation is no small affair. It involves elaborate ceremonies that include circumcision, a rite of passage that tests courage and endurance. The young warriors then live apart from the village, in seclusion, learning the ways of the Maasai, mastering spear throwing, and understanding the deep-rooted customs that have been passed down through generations. As warriors, the Moran are the custodians of the village's safety, tasked with protecting the community and their precious cattle from predators and rival tribes. their role is celebrated and revered, a symbol of strength and bravery. The life of a Moran is also one of camaraderie and brotherhood. Living and training together, they form bonds that last a lifetime. But the Maasai age-set system goes beyond the physical. It is a spiritual journey, with each stage accompanied by rituals and teachings that instill the values and wisdom of the Maasai way of life. The elders, who have passed through all the stages, are respected as the keepers of this knowledge. They are the decision makers, the mediators in disputes, and the bridge between the spiritual and earthly realms. Their word is often final, and their advice sought in all matters of importance. The role of elders extends to the preservation of traditions and oral histories. In a culture where history and laws are not written but passed down orally, the elders are the living libraries, the custodians of the community's collective memory. They recount tales of ancestors, sing songs of ancient battles, and recite the laws that govern the land and the people. These stories are the backbone of the Maasai identity, teaching the younger generations about their heritage and their place in the world. Community living and land management are also central to Maasai life. The Maasai do not believe in individual land ownership. The land is held communally, managed and shared by the entire tribe. This communal approach extends to their livestock, the heart of their economy. Cattle are not just a source of food for them, but are a symbol of wealth and social status, a currency for bride price, and a sacrificial offering in religious ceremonies. The communal lifestyle fosters a deep sense of belonging and responsibility. Every member, from the youngest child to the oldest elder, has a role to play in the community. Women build the maniatas, the traditional Maasai huts made of mud, sticks and cow dung, and they are responsible for gathering water, cooking and raising children. Men tend to the cattle, protect the village, and make decisions for the community. This intricate social structure, governed by age and gender roles, has sustained the Maasai for generations. It has enabled them to survive and thrive in the harsh environments of the African savanna. But this structure is not static. It is dynamic, evolving with the changing times. The Maasai are increasingly balancing their traditional ways with the demands of the modern world. Education, for instance, is becoming more valued, and many Maasai children now attend school, learning to navigate between the world of their ancestors and the global community. Yet, despite these changes, the essence of the Maasai social structure remains. The age-set system, the role of elders, and the communal lifestyle continue to be the pillars of their society. The Maasai's traditional practices and beliefs are governing their way of life in every aspect. Among these, the lion hunting tradition is especially significant, serving as a powerful emblem of their courage and skill. Historically, killing a lion was considered a rite of passage for young warriors, a daunting task that proved their bravery and marked their transition into manhood. This practice, known as alamala, wasn't just a hunt, as it was also a deeply spiritual act, surrounded by rituals and respect for the animal. However, in recent times, this tradition has evolved due to increased awareness of wildlife conservation, showcasing the Maasai's ability to adapt their ancient customs to modern sensibilities. The Maasai Olympics is a biennial event that represents a significant shift in the traditional Maasai culture, particularly in their approach to lion hunting. Initiated in 2012, this event was developed as a conservation effort to discourage the traditional practice of lion hunting by young Maasai warriors. The Maasai Olympics offers an alternative platform for the Moran to demonstrate their strength, bravery, and skill, which were historically proven through lion hunting. The Maasai Olympics features a range of athletic events that mirror the skills traditionally required for hunting and combat. These include running, high jump, javelin throw, runga throwing, and archery. The Maasai Olympics serves not only as a conservation effort, but also as a cultural celebration. It provides a platform for the Moran to gain honour and recognition within their communities, similar to the prestige that was historically associated with lion hunting. The event also includes traditional Maasai songs, dances and ceremonies, making it a vibrant cultural festival. The Maasai Olympics has had a positive impact on wildlife conservation, with a noticeable decrease in lion hunting in the regions where the Olympics are held. This success offers a model for other conservation efforts worldwide, demonstrating that it is possible to align cultural practices with environmental sustainability. Spitting in many cultures might be considered rude, but for the Maasai, it holds a completely different and positive meaning. It is a gesture of blessing and respect. Elders spit on their hands before shaking hands as a way of imparting wisdom and good fortune. Newborn babies are blessed with a spit to ward off bad luck, and young warriors are similarly blessed before they leave for important tasks. The role of the Laibon, or traditional healer, is pivotal in Maasai society. Beyond a mere healer of physical ailments, the Laibon is also a spiritual guide and a mediator between the Maasai and their deities. Using an extensive knowledge of medicinal plants and ancient rituals, the Laibon treats illnesses, offers advice on community matters, and performs important ceremonies. This deep-rooted belief in natural medicine and spiritual healing underscores the Maasai's profound connection to the African savanna and their reliance on the wisdom of their ancestors. Burial practices among the Maasai have traditionally been unique. In the past, they did not bury their dead, believing that burial harmed the earth. Instead, they left the bodies of their deceased exposed, returning them to nature in the most direct way. This practice, however, has been changing, with more Maasai now choosing to bury their loved ones. The Maasai's marital customs and relationships are a profound reflection of their culture, embodying traditions that have been passed down through generations. At the heart of these customs lies the practice of polygamy, a common and socially significant aspect of Maasai life. A Maasai man may marry multiple women, and this practice is often seen as a symbol of wealth and prestige. Far from being a mere marital arrangement, polygamy in the Maasai community is a complex institution that involves intricate social responsibilities and deep interpersonal relationships. Polygamous marriages within the Maasai culture are structured and governed by a set of traditional laws and customs. These marriages are not just unions between individuals, but alliances between families. The negotiation of bride price, typically paid in cattle, is a crucial aspect of the marriage process, reflecting the value placed on cattle in Maasai society. The wives in a polygamous household often work together in harmony, sharing domestic duties and jointly raising their children. This cooperative living arrangement showcases the strong communal ethos that underpins Maasai society. Perhaps the most intriguing and often misunderstood aspect of Maasai marital life is the tradition of wife sharing. This practice, deeply embedded in the social fabric of the Maasai, is governed by rules and customs that ensure it is carried out with respect and consent. Contrary to what might be assumed, wife sharing is not a casual or indiscriminate affair. It is a structured practice that is believed to strengthen bonds and alliances between families. In the Maasai context, this tradition is a reflection of the deep sense of community and mutual trust that characterizes their society. The practice of wife sharing is often linked to the concept of child naming and lineage. Children born from these shared unions are accepted and raised as part of the husband's family, with no stigma attached. The practice of wife sharing is known as okuyot and is practiced primarily among close friends or age mates with the same social circle. Like we talked earlier, the age groups of men have undergone initiation ceremonies together and share a close brotherly bond. The husband may also offer his wife to a male guest, which is considered an honor and a gesture of friendship and trust. The practice is based on mutual consent and trust, and it's important to note that it's not universally practiced among all Maasai. This aspect of Maasai culture shows their unique approach to family and kinship, where the communal ties and the welfare of the group take precedence over individual lineage. The influence of modernization, education, and global cultural shifts have led to a decline in traditional practices like wife sharing in many Maasai communities. Additionally, such practices are increasingly being scrutinized and challenged, both within the Maasai community and by external observers, from the perspectives of women's rights and personal autonomy. Perhaps the most gruesome and horrific old custom of the Maasai is the practice of female genital mutilation. This is a significant and sensitive issue that affects various communities around the world, including some Maasai groups. This is a deeply rooted cultural practice in some Maasai communities, traditionally seen as a rite of passage for girls transitioning to womanhood. It's important to understand that this practice is not universal among all Maasai, and there are variations in its prevalence and acceptance across different Maasai groups. The practice is often linked to beliefs about purity, modesty, and eligibility for marriage. Thankfully, this practice has been internationally recognized as a violation of human rights. It has no health benefits and can cause severe physical and psychological harm. In recent years, there has been growing awareness and efforts within Maasai communities and by international organizations to end this brutal practice. These efforts include community education, advocacy for alternative rites of passage, and support for girls who resist the practice. Maasai women are also skilled artisans, known for their intricate beadwork, which is not only a cultural practice, but also a source of economic value, as many Maasai sell their beadwork to tourists, providing a vital source of income. This intricate art form is deeply embedded in their tradition, with each pattern holding specific meanings. Beadwork is used to create stunning necklaces, bracelets, and earrings, each piece telling a story or signifying the wearer's status. For instance, blue beads symbolize energy and the sky. Green represents the land and health, while red beads stand for bravery and strength. The patterns and designs vary, often indicating one's age, social status, marital status, or even achievements. This beadwork is not only for decoration as it is a form of communication, a visual language that conveys identity and personal history. The Maasai are often distinguished by their unique dress and adornments. Their traditional attire is not just a matter of aesthetic appeal, but a profound expression of identity and social status. The iconic red shuka, the Maasai blanket, is perhaps the most recognizable element of their attire. This bright cloth, often red or blue and checked or striped, is worn draped over the body and is both practical for the climate and symbolic. The color red is particularly significant, believed to represent strength and courage, and is thought to scare off predators. Hairstyles and body modifications are also integral to Maasai culture, serving as another form of expressing identity and social status. The warriors, known as Morans, often wear their hair in long, thin braids dyed red with ochre. This hairstyle is a symbol of their warrior status and is worn with pride. For women, shaved heads are common, considered both beautiful and a sign of cleanliness. Ear piercing and stretching are also practiced by both men and women, with earlobes being adorned with beads and other ornaments, signifying beauty and maturity. The Maasai's traditional attire and adornments are not static, but have evolved over time. While they have retained the core elements of their traditional dress, there have been adaptations. For instance, the materials used for beadwork have changed over time. Originally made from natural materials like clay, wood, bone, and ivory, modern Maasai beadwork is now often made from glass beads, which are more colourful and durable. Despite these changes, the traditional dress remains a powerful symbol of Maasai identity. It is a source of pride and a way of preserving their culture and history. The Maasai attire is not just worn for ceremonial occasions, but is a part of everyday life, a constant reminder of who they are and where they come from. In a world where cultures are rapidly globalizing and traditional practices are often lost, the Maasai's commitment to their traditional dress and adornments is remarkable. It reflects their resilience and their determination to maintain their cultural heritage. This commitment has also made the Maasai one of the most recognizable and iconic tribes in Africa, with their distinctive look attracting interest and admiration from around the world. The diet and subsistence of the Maasai people are deeply intertwined with their pastoral lifestyle, reflecting a profound connection with the land and their livestock. Central to their diet are the products derived from their cattle: milk, meat, and occasionally blood, which together form the cornerstone of traditional Maasai nutrition. Milk is particularly revered in Maasai culture, not just as a staple food, but as a symbol of life and nourishment. It is consumed daily, often in its raw form or fermented to make a yogurt-like drink. The importance of milk goes beyond its nutritional value. It is a link to their cattle, which are an integral part of the Maasai identity. Meat is another crucial component of the Maasai diet, though it is consumed less frequently than milk. Large meat-eating ceremonies are significant in Maasai culture, especially during special occasions like weddings, initiation ceremonies, or during the Unoto ceremony when warriors transition to become elders. These ceremonies involve the communal slaughter and consumption of livestock, a practice that is both a social event and a ritual. The division of meat is done following strict traditional guidelines, with different parts of the animal being allocated according to social status and age group. This practice not only reinforces social bonds, but also ensures that everyone in the community receives a share of the food. The consumption of blood, while less common, is another unique aspect of the Maasai diet. Blood is typically drawn from living cattle in a way that does not harm the animal, often by nicking a vein in the neck with a sharp arrow or knife. The blood is then mixed with milk to create a nutrient-rich drink. This practice is usually reserved for special occasions and is particularly valued for its high protein content and its perceived ability to strengthen the body. Agricultural practices among the Maasai have traditionally been limited due to their nomadic lifestyle and the arid environments they inhabit. However, there has been a gradual shift in recent years, with some Maasai communities engaging in small-scale agriculture. This shift is partly due to the changing environmental conditions and the need for a more diversified and stable food source. Crops such as maize, beans and potatoes are increasingly being cultivated, providing an additional food source and reducing the reliance on livestock alone. Despite these changes, the Maasai's connection to their pastoral way of life remains strong. One of the most interesting aspects of the Maasai culture is their unique language and communication methods. The Maasai's language, Ma, belongs to the Nilotic language family and is notable for its abundant use of expressive metaphors and proverbs. This linguistic characteristic mirrors the community's profound bond with their environment and their adherence to traditional lifestyles. It has specific terms and expressions related to cattle rearing, pastoralism, and the natural world, underscoring the centrality of these elements in Maasai life. The language is not just a tool for everyday communication. It is a repository of cultural knowledge, embodying the traditions, values, and history of the Maasai people. The oral nature of the Maasai culture means that Ma is crucial in passing down customs, stories, and wisdom from one generation to the next. Stories, proverbs, songs, and folklore are the sinews that bind the community, teaching moral values, social norms, and the history of the tribe. These narratives are often shared during communal gatherings, with elders recounting tales that captivate and educate both the young and old. In addition to their native language, many Maasai have adapted to communicate in languages such as Swahili and English, especially those who interact with tourists or live in urban areas. The Maasai's communication with the outside world has also been shaped by their increasing involvement in tourism and advocacy. As ambassadors of their culture, many Maasai use their language and traditions to educate outsiders about their way of life, sharing their stories and customs with visitors. However, this exposure to external influences has its challenges. the Maasai have had to contend with the risk of cultural dilution and misrepresentation. The integrity of their oral traditions and the purity of their language face pressures from modernization and the digital age. Despite these challenges, the Maasai have shown resilience, actively working to preserve their language and oral traditions. Initiatives to document and teach the Ma language, efforts to record oral histories, and the inclusion of Maasai narratives in educational and cultural platforms are steps towards safeguarding their linguistic heritage. The Maasai's spiritual world is as intricate and profound as their social customs. At the core of Maasai, spirituality is a monotheistic belief in a single deity known as Enkai or Ngai. This deity has a dual nature: Ngai Narok, black god, benevolent and nurturing, and Ngai Nanyoki, red god, vengeful and punishing. Ngai is central to the Maasai's understanding of the world and their place within it. They believe that Ngai resides in all things, and this belief shapes their interaction with the natural world, fostering a sense of respect and stewardship. The Maasai's relationship with their cattle, for instance, is not merely economic but also spiritual, as they consider cattle a gift from Ngai, a symbol of their covenant with the divine. The Laibon, who's the tribe's spiritual leader, healer and a seer, also has a role as a mediator between the Maasai and Ngai, performing rituals to ensure harmony within the community and with the natural world. Prayer and offerings are common in Maasai religious practice, often involving the sacrifice of livestock. These sacrifices are made to seek Ngai's favour, especially during times of drought, disease, or community strife. The act of sacrifice is a profound expression of faith and dependence on the divine, reinforcing the community's bond with Ngai. The concept of sacred spaces is also prominent in Maasai religion. Certain places are considered holy, such as mountaintops or specific trees, where rituals are performed and prayers are offered. These sacred sites are treated with reverence and are often the setting for communal gatherings and ceremonies. The Maasai also have a rich tradition of oral myths and legends that explain the origins of the world, their people, and their relationship with Ngai. They traditionally believe that in the beginning, a vast and formless void existed, which was then shaped by their deity Nkai, who brought forth the earth, the sky, and all living beings. Central to their creation story is the belief that Nkai granted them a special gift: cattle, which descended from the sky via a long bark rope, establishing the deep bond between the Maasai and their livestock. This myth not only explains the origins of the world, but also reinforces the Maasai's sacred duty to protect and cherish their cattle, seen as a direct link to the divine. In recent years, the Maasai have experienced religious changes, with some members converting to Christianity or Islam. These new religious influences have led to a blending of beliefs and practices, with traditional Maasai spirituality coexisting with the teachings of these world religions. As the world has globalized, the Maasai have increasingly found themselves at the intersection of their traditional lifestyle and the modern world. This interaction is most evident in their engagement with tourism, which has become a significant aspect of their interaction with the outside world. Tourism in Maasai regions offers a unique opportunity for visitors to experience a way of life vastly different from their own. Tourists are often drawn to the Maasai's vibrant culture, their traditional dress, and their pastoral way of life. Many Maasai communities have established cultural villages where tourists can visit and learn about their customs, participate in traditional dances, and observe or even partake in their daily activities, such as cattle herding or craft making. These cultural experiences provide a valuable source of income for the Maasai, helping them to sustain their communities while preserving their cultural heritage. For those wishing to visit Maasai communities, it is crucial to approach such experiences with respect and sensitivity. It is recommended to arrange visits through reputable tour operators who have established ethical and sustainable partnerships with Maasai communities. These operators ensure that a portion of the tourism revenue goes directly to the community, supporting local projects such as schools, health clinics, and water supply systems. Visitors often have the chance to witness traditional beadwork and jewellery making and purchase these handmade items as souvenirs, directly benefiting the artisans. Additionally, tourists can learn about the Maasai's medicinal plants and their use in traditional healing practices. However, the interaction with tourism also presents challenges. There is a delicate balance between showcasing the Maasai culture for educational and economic benefits and the risk of cultural exploitation and commodification. It is essential for tour operators and tourists alike to engage with Maasai communities in a way that respects their culture and autonomy. This includes being mindful of privacy, seeking consent before taking photographs, and adhering to local customs and etiquette. The Maasai's involvement in tourism has also led to increased advocacy for their rights, particularly concerning land ownership and environmental conservation. The Maasai have been active in raising awareness about the challenges they face, such as land being taken for national parks and reserves, which restricts their traditional nomadic lifestyle. By sharing their stories with visitors, the Maasai can garner international support for their struggles, turning tourism into a platform for cultural preservation and social justice. Education has become another critical area where the Maasai are balancing tradition with modernity. More Maasai children are attending school, and there is a growing emphasis on education as a tool for empowerment. Education provides the younger generation with the skills needed to navigate and advocate for their community in a rapidly changing world, while also ensuring the preservation and transmission of their cultural heritage. As guardians of an ancient way of life, they navigate the complexities of the modern world with grace and adaptability, balancing the preservation of their rich heritage with the inevitable currents of change. The Maasai's journey is a poignant reminder of the enduring power of culture and the importance of respecting and preserving the diverse ways of life that enrich our global community. In their dance, their art, and their daily lives, the Maasai continue to embody a legacy of resilience, community, and deep respect for the natural world. Before ending this journey into the Maasai culture, it's time to share with you the remarkable story of Corinne Hoffmann. Corinne Hoffmann's story, as recounted in her best-selling book, The White Maasai, is a captivating tale of love, cultural immersion, and resilience. Born in Switzerland in 1960, Hoffmann's life took an unexpected turn during a holiday to Kenya in 1986, leading her down a path that would forever change her perspective on life, love, and cultural understanding. While on vacation in Mombasa, a coastal city in Kenya, Hoffmann encountered Likatinga Lepamorijo, a member of the Samburu tribe, which is closely related to the Maasai. The Maasai and Samburu share similar languages and cultural practices, often leading to confusion between the two. Despite the significant language and cultural barriers, Hoffmann was immediately drawn to Likatinga's striking presence and traditional attire. Compelled by this intense connection, Hoffmann made the life-altering decision to leave her life in Switzerland behind. She sold her belongings and moved to Kenya to be with Likatinga. This decision marked the beginning of her profound journey into the Samburu way of life, a journey filled with challenges, discoveries, and transformations. Living in a traditional Samburu village, Hoffmann experienced a life starkly different from her Swiss upbringing. She found herself in a world without running water, electricity, or the conveniences of modern life. She learned to navigate the complexities of her new family's expectations and the broader community's cultural norms, which were deeply entrenched in tradition and social hierarchies. Hoffmann's marriage was conducted in a traditional Samburu ceremony, further cementing her integration into the community. However, the marriage was not without its challenges. Hoffmann faced significant cultural shocks, struggling with the language barrier and the community's gender roles and expectations. One of the most significant challenges Hoffmann faced was related to health. Living in a remote area with limited access to medical facilities, she battled illnesses like malaria, a stark reminder of the harsh realities of life in a rural African setting. These experiences underscored the vast differences between her Swiss upbringing and her new life in Kenya. Despite these challenges, Hoffmann's story is also one of profound love and respect for the Samburu culture. She embraced many aspects of the community's way of life, from their diet and dress to their social customs and rituals. Her story provides a unique window into the Samburu's rich cultural heritage. The birth of her daughter, Napirai, added a new dimension to Hoffmann's journey. Raising a child in such a different cultural environment brought its joys and challenges, further intertwining her life with that of the Samburu. However, after 4 years in Kenya, the cumulative impact of cultural differences, marital challenges, and concerns for her daughter's future prompted Hoffmann to make the difficult decision to return to Switzerland. This decision marked the end of her life in the Samburu village, but not the end of her connection to Kenya and its people. In Switzerland, Hoffmann penned The White Maasai, a memoir that chronicles her extraordinary experiences. The book became an international sensation, translated into numerous languages and later adapted into a film. Through her writing, Hoffmann shared the complexities of her cross-cultural romance in Kenya, offering readers a glimpse into a world vastly different from the Western norm. Hoffmann's subsequent works, including Back from Africa and Reunion in Barcelona, continue her story, exploring her life after returning to Switzerland and her eventual reunion with Lukatinga and her former village. Her journey is a remarkable testament to the power of love across cultural divides and the profound impact of embracing and respecting different ways of life. Thank you for watching. Tell us what you think about the Maasai culture in the comments below. Also, tell us if you would be able to spend 4 years in a Maasai village like Hoffmann did. If you want to learn more about another fascinating tribe and their culture, we suggest you watch our documentary on the Bajau people, a tribe that is deeply connected to the sea.